Good morning, all of you. This is Lokanath Reddy, working as Assistant Professor, Department of Physics, Annamacharya Institute of Technology and Sciences, Autonomous, Tirupati. Today, we are going to learn Unit 5, first part of sensors. In this, we are going to learn different contents like different types of sensors and applications. So coming to this, we should know course outcome of the sensors. The course outcome of the sensors is identify the sensors for various engineering applications. Identify the sensors for various engineering applications. That means we are going to apply different types of sensors for different engineering applications. So here different types of sensors are available like IR sensor, touch sensor, humidity sensor, rain sensor, temperature sensor, color sensor, gas sensor, like that. So many sensors are available in our nature. These sensors are artificial sensors which are man-made sensors. They are not natural sensors. They are artificial sensors. So coming to the natural sensor, let us consider human body. Human body has 5 senses. Sense of sight. First one is sense of sight. Second one, sense of smell. Third one, sense of hearing. Fourth one, sense of taste. And fifth one, sense of touch. So in case of sense of sight, we are able to see by using our eyes. That's why our eyes, human eyes, are nothing but sensor for sight. It is a natural sensor. And smell. Coming to the smell, we are using our nose to smell. So our nose acts as sensor. We are hearing by using our ears. Ears are sensors. So taste, we are tasting whatever it may be the food, and we are using our tongue for tasting the food. This tongue acts as natural sensor. And also final one, touching, by using our skin, by using our hand, we are touching. Hand consists of skin, so that skin acts as a natural sensor. So this is the natural type of sensor which is acting on our human body. So here in this sensors, we are going to study about different types of sensors and various applications of sensor here. Coming to first one, basic definition. What is sensor? So that we are going to see now. So sensor is a device which detects and responds to some type of input from the physical environment. So some type of input we are giving from the physical environment, and that will be detected by the device. That device is called as sensor. The specific input may be the light, heat, motion, moisture, pressure, etc. The output is generally a signal that is converted to human readable display at the sensor location or transmitted electronically over a network for reading or further processing. The first decade of the 21st century has been labeled by some as the sensor decade, with a dramatic increase in the sensor applications over the past 15 years. Sensors are certainly poised on the brink over a revolution similar to that experienced in microcomputers in the 1980s. Just in automobiles alone, sensing needs are growing by leaps and bounds, and the sensing technologies used as varied as applications. Tremendous advances have been made in sensor technology, and more are on the horizon. So first of all, we should know what is sensor. Simply, already I told you, sensor is a device which detects and responds to some type of physical input from the physical environment. So this is the basic definition of sensor. So a sensor or transducer, it is a device which provides a usable output in response to a specific measurand. So here I have given a small flow chart, just like a small processing unit here. So this is a system, sensor system. First of all, sensor element. This sensor element consists of IP. IP means, as shown in figure here, IP means input. So input is given to the sensor, and here also this sensor consists of signal conditioning unit that will process the input signal, and output will be received at the other end here. So it is a simple sensor element. So simple sensor element diagram, this one is. Here we are giving input, we are connecting sensor, and sensor is consisting signal conditioning process. That is nothing but signal conditioning unit, and through the signal conditioning unit output will be given. So sensor element, what do you mean by sensor element? The fundamental transduction mechanism that converts one form of energy into other form of energy. Some sensors may incorporate more than one sensor element. That is, for example, a compound sensor. So sensor system, coming to the sensor system, a sensor and its assorted signal processing hardware, that is nothing but analog or digital, with the processing either in or on the same package or discrete from the sensor itself. So the general measurement configuration system, that is nothing but sensor system. So sensor system is given here, that is called as general measurement configuration system. This general measurement configuration system consists of, I have given you a flow chart here. This flow chart consists of physical variable followed by sensor, transducer, signal conditioner, signal processor. So general measurement configuration, if you take general measurement configuration system consists of following contents, as already we have seen in the flow chart. So let us discuss one by one. First one, physical variable. First one. So that is given in the first element of the flow chart. So this physical variable, it must be sensed by the system. So whatever the physical variable we are giving as input, that should be sensed by the system. The variable stimulus determine a specific state of the sensor's properties. So next one is sensor. Second one is sensor. So this one, sensor. So any detectable physical property of the sensor can serve as the sensor's signal. When the signal changes rapidly in time, it is referred to as an impulse. So, by definition, the sensor is a device that senses a physical stimulus and converts into a signal. This signal usually is electrical, mechanical, or optical, or something else. So, coming to the transducer, third one is transducer here. Transducer. So, here transducer is available. So, a transducer transforms energy from one form to another form. Usually, the transducer output is an electrical signal such as voltage or current. A transducer also can change an input into an output providing motion. Often, after the signal has been transduced, its magnitude still may be too small or may contain unwanted electrical noise. So, noise signal will be produced here. So, we have to avoid such type of unwanted signals, noise signals. Next one, signal conditioner. Fourth one, signal conditioner. So, here in the signal conditioning state, an amplifier may be used to increase the signal's amplitude, or filter may be used to remove the electrical noise or sonic unwanted frequency content in the signal. Some noise signals will be emitted here. So, to avoid those noise signals, we are using signal conditioners. So, here the signal conditioner in essence puts the signal in the final form to be processed and recorded. In most situations, the conditioner's output signal is analog generally. So, for continuous in time, so it will be a processed. And last one is signal processor. We already signal processor. This signal processor is the last one. So, AD converter is nothing but analog or digital converters. So, the signal processor output is digital, so discrete in time. So, in the signal processing stage, the signal must be converted from analog to digital forms. This is accomplished by adding an analog to digital converter, which usually is contained within the computer that is used to record and store the data. So, generally we are using computers to store the data. So, that computer also can be used to analyze the data and to analyze the resulting data, or overall to pass this information to the another computer also. So, sensors can be categorized into domains according to the type of physical variables. Here sensors can be categorized into domains according to the type of physical variable that sense. So, these domains and the sensed variables include chemical, electrical, magnetic, mechanical, radiant and thermal. Coming to the chemical, here by using chemical sensors, for example, if you want to measure anything, chemical concentration or composition and reaction time between the two chemicals, if you want to find, so we are using, so here categorized into domains. What are the domains we are using? Chemical domain is nothing but if you want to calculate the chemical concentration or composition or reaction time, we can use. This comes under chemical domain. Coming to electrical domain, if you want to measure electric current, voltage, resistance, capacitance, inductance and charge, etc. So these all comes under electrical domain. Next one, magnetic domain. Magnetic field intensity, flux density, magnetization, so etc. comes under magnetic domain. And fourth one, mechanical domain. So if you want to measure displacement or strain, level, position, velocity, acceleration, force, torque, pressure and flow rate, these all comes under mechanical domain. Radiant domain, electromagnetic wave intensity, wavelength, polarization and phase, and also remaining quantities comes under radiant domains. And final one is thermal domain. If you want to measure temperature, heat and heat flux, rate of flow of heat energy, like that, if you want to measure, these all comes under thermal domain. So sensors also can be organized with respect to the physical basis of how they sense. These are electric, piezosensitive, piezoresistive, fluid mechanic, optic, photoelastic, thermoelectric and electrochemical. Now coming to classification of sensors. Next topic, classification of sensors. How we are classifying the sensors, that we are going to study here. So classification of sensors. The classification of sensors mainly depends on the following factors. The first factor is, so here marked with red. First point, transduction principles using physical or chemical effects. Here we are using some principles, transduction principles, that is nothing but if you want to change from one form of energy to another form of energy, we are using transduction principles. So that may be in the form of physical or chemical effects. And second one, primary physical quantity that is measured. Primary physical quantity is nothing but if you want to measure velocity or pressure, temperature, humidity, etc. are called as primary input quantity, that is measured to be quantified, and definitely classification of sensors depends on this factor. And third factor is material and technology that have acquired more important lately. Material and technology that have acquired more importance lately. So what are the materials we are using and what technology we are using that have to be acquired more important lately. So this is also one of the factor. And fourth one, application, where we are going to apply this, that also we should know. That's why we should use, and it depends on application also. And last one is, fifth one is property. So the property of the physical environment and as well as the property also should be noted down, and this completely depends on classification of sensors. So these five factors are the various five factors which are determining the classification of sensors. So some of the other consequences are cost and accuracy. Another very preliminary classification of sub-classifications or sub classifications as it may be is based on the energy or power supply requirements of the sensors. This means that some sensors require power supply. As a result, the sensors are called as active and passive sensors respectively. So, sometimes terms such as self-generating and modulating are used to qualify this. Conventional sensors are now applied supported by technologies. Those are micro electromechanical sensors, that is called MEMS, CMOS image sensors, displacement and motion detectors, and biosensors, etc. Similarly, magnetic and ultrasonic flow meters, photoelectric, proximity, Hall effect, infrared, integrated circuit, temperature, radar based level sensors are also relatively modern. In account of all these considerations, sensors are classified into two things, namely, first one, active and passive sensors. Second one, analog and digital sensors. First one, active and passive sensors. Out of that, first one, active sensors. These active sensors produce output signal with the help of external excitation supply. So with the help of external excitation supply. So here these active sensors are producing output signal. We are using external excitation supply. Then only these sensors give output signals. Here we have to supply sufficient amount of energy to the system. That amount of energy may be whatever in the form, that will be converted by using transducers. That type of example, so this type of sensors are also called as self-generating sensors. So example of this type of sensor, LVDT and strain gauge sensors. LVDT is nothing but L means linear, V means variable, D means differential, T means transformer. So linear, variable, differential, transformer and strain gauge sensors are the examples of active and passive sensors. So coming to the passive sensors. Passive sensors produce output signal without the help of external excitation supply. In previous case, active sensors we are helping with sufficient amount of energy. So coming to the passive sensors, these passive sensors produce output signal without the help of external excitation supply. They don't need any extra stimulus or voltage. That means we are not supplying external energy to the system. So the best example of these passive sensors are nothing but thermocouple. So thermocouple is nothing but if we are using two different types of metals, they are connected with each other. One is kept at hot junction, other one is kept at cold junction. So the following active and passive sensors, the following are the different kinds of digital and analog sensors with their applications. So here active and passive sensors. Next, here the heading should be, in case of active and passive sensors, here second one the heading should be analog and digital sensors. Sorry for the inconvenience. Analog and digital sensors should be here. So first one is nothing but active and passive sensors. Second one is analog and digital sensors. So here the second heading should be on analog and digital sensors. So the following are the different types of digital and analog sensors applications here. So these analog and digital applications, the following are the different types of digital and analog sensors with their applications, functionality and working. Out of that, first one is light sensor. The light sensors are again classified into three types. That is IR sensor, that is called infrared sensor transmitter, otherwise IR LED. Second one, photodiodes, that is also called IR receiver. Third one, light dependent resistor. Coming to first one, light sensor, IR sensor. So it is also called as IR transmitter. It is used to emit infrared rays. The range of these frequencies are greater than the microwave frequencies, that is greater than 3000 GHz to few hundreds of terahertz. Second one, photodiode. It is a semiconductor device which is used to detect the light rays and mostly used as IR receiver. Its construction is similar to the normal PN basic automatic street lamp, which glows when the sunlight intensity decreases. But the photodiode works even if a small amount of light falls on it. And next one, light dependent resistor. The LDR works on the principle of photoconductivity, which means the conduction due to the light. It is generally made up of cadmium sulfide. Light dependent resistor, it is generally made with cadmium sulfide. Next, coming to the second one, temperature sensor. The temperature sensors can be classified into two types once again here. First one, thermistor, and second one, thermocouple. Coming to the thermistor, so a thermistor can be used to detect the variation in the temperature. So if a temperature is increasing, if the temperature we are increasing, then what happens to the electric current or resistivity that we are going to study here? So it has a negative temperature coefficient. That means when the temperature increases, the resistance decreases. So the thermistor's resistance can be varied with the rise in temperature, which causes more current flow. So this is nothing but thermistor. And what about second one? Second one is thermocouple. Another component that detects the variation in the temperature is a thermocouple. In its construction, two different metals are joined together to form a junction. Its main principle is when the junction of two different metals are heated or exposed to high temperatures, a potential difference across their terminals varies, that is changes. So this type of sensors comes under temperature sensors. And third one, pressure or force or weight sensors. So the pressure sensors again classified into two types. They are first one, strain gauge, second one, load cells. Strain gauge is also called as pressure sensor. This is used to detect pressure when a load is applied. It works on the principle of resistance. We know that the resistance is directly proportional to the length of the wire and inversely proportional to the cross-sectional area. So that is, we already know that R is equal to rho L by A. So this is the relation between the resistance and the area of cross-section. Here area of cross-section is inversely proportional to the resistance. And coming to the second one, load cells. So that is used as in the case of weight sensor. Load cells are similar to the strain gauges, which measures the physical quantity like force and give the output in the form of electrical signals. So next, fourth one, position sensor. This can be classified into two categories, namely first one is potentiometer and second one is encoder. First one is a position sense potentiometer and second one encoder. So these two comes under position sensor. A potentiometer is used to detect the position. So here a potentiometer is used to detect the position. So it generally has various ranges of resistors connected to the different poles of the switch. A potentiometer can be either rotatory or linear type. Second one, encoder. So to detect the change in the position, an encoder can be also used. It has a circular rotatable disc like structure with specific openings in between, such that when the infrared rays or light rays pass through the material, it only a few light rays get detected. So this is nothing but encoder. This is nothing but encoder. Next one, Hall sensor. Next, fifth one, Hall sensor. The name itself states that it is the sensor which it works on the principle of Hall effect. So it can be defined as, Hall effect can be defined as, when the magnetic field is brought to the close to the current carrying conductor, then a potential difference is developed across the given conductor. Using this property, Hall sensor is used to detect the magnetic field and gives output in terms of voltage. So next one, sixth one, flex sensor. This is a transducer which changes its resistance when its shape is changed or when it is be bent. When it is bent. So a flex sensor is 2.2 inches long or a finger length. Next one, seventh one, sound sensor. The sound sensor can be classified into one type only, that is microphone. So microphone can be seen on all the smartphones or mobile phones. It can be detect the audio signal and convert them into small voltage, that is in the order of millivolt electrical signals. So a microphone can be of many types like condenser microphone, crystal microphone, carbon microphone, etc. Each type of microphone work on the properties like capacitance, piezoelectric effect, resistance respectively. Next one is ultrasonic sensor, that is eighth one. So ultrasonic means a range, the frequency range, sound waves having frequency range greater than audible range, that is greater than 20 kilohertz. So even it is switched on, we cannot sense the sound. That's why only specific speakers and receivers can be sense those ultrasonic waves. So this type of sensor, sonic sensor, is used to calculate the distance between the ultrasonic transmitter and the target, and also used to measure the velocity of the target. For example, if you want to measure the distance between the depth of the sea, that is the distance between the lower portion of the water level and as well as higher portion of the water level in the sea, we can measure the distance. And also touch sensor. So ultrasonic, this touch sensor comes under ultrasonic sensor. So in this generation, we can say that almost all are using smartphones, in which have wide screen, that to a screen which can sense our touch. So let's see how these sensors are working. So based on touch screen, if you want to touch it, if you touch the screen of the mobile phone, it works. So this comes under ultrasonic sensor, touch sensor. And next one, PIR. PIR means passive infrared sensor. So PIR sensor stands for passive infrared sensor. These are used to detect the motion of humans, animals or things. For example, if you want to walk from one place to another place, how many steps are made by you from one place to another place, that can be calculated by using this type of PIR sensors. Next one, 10th one, tilt sensor. So accelerometer sensor also comes under this. Tilt sensor, the accelerometer is the one type of tilt sensor. So accelerometer sensor can sense the tilt or movement of the particular direction. It works based on the acceleration force caused due to the gravity. And last one, 11th one, gas sensor. In this, in industrial applications, gas sensors plays a vital role in detecting the gas leakage problems. If no such device is installed in such areas, it ultimately leads to a problem or it makes a disaster. That's why we should use gas sensors in gas companies especially. So these are the different analog to digital sensors. So we have seen different types of sensors, and the sensors can be applications of sensors. The sensors can be used as follows. Here different applications we have. And coming to the first one, the sensors can be used as follows. First one of the main use of sensor is automotive systems for the sensing of position, speed and distance. And These sensors are also used to detect hidden tracks, discontinuous in the metals, composites, plastics, ceramics, and water level detection. And the next application is detection of leaks in the gas pipes and cables using the pressure sensors. Fourth use, we are using these sensors in pressure monitoring systems and also pressure monitoring in tires. Fifth one, monitoring airflow. Next one, measuring level and inhalers. So inhaler is a medical device. Those who are having breathing problems, they are using. So this is also a sensor. And the temperature of an object is measured with radiation thermometers. So IR sensors are used to image the objects. IR based TV remotes are used at home theaters and theaters. So in a vehicle, steering sensors are very crucial. So they measure the rotational angle of steering wheel and further help for navigation. These sensors play a role for electronic command steering and electric power steering. And the last one, 12th one, the mobile technology is built with full of sensors and automation technology. Different types of sensors like fingerprint, magnetometer, gyroscope, accelerometer, barometer, thermometer, proximity sensor, heart rate monitor, light sensors, and many more. So these are the general applications of sensors. So many applications are there. Out of these, some of the applications are given here. So up to this, part 1 of sensors is over. Thank you for your attention. So just once again, I am repeating all the things, main topics. So here we learned what do you mean by sensor element and general measurement configuration of system. What are the sensors, how the sensors are categorized into domains, how the classification of sensors happened here, that is how the sensors are classified. We have learned active and passive sensors, analog and digital sensors, and different types we learned here. And final one, applications of sensors we have seen. So thank you for your attention.